So, we have another weekend series, and finally, it's a double home game weekend, one of only a handful this season, and Chatham's coming to town. Last year, when we saw Chatham, it was both of them on the road, if I remember correctly. Either that or was both at home. I don't remember. It was one of the two. Sometimes it blends together, so I'm gonna pull up the history now that I say that. Utica's coming off 2 wins against Brockport, 5-2 at home, and then 5-2 at home, and then 5-1 away, where that puts them up to 5-1, and the team's on a roll. I mean, watching them play, they're very connected. I mean, losing Javier, Evtimov, and Barr, did it hurt slightly? Maybe. Probably not, because you have Schultz Dice taking Barr's spot in a way, and getting a grad student is an upgrade, and watching his game is very smart. He's a captain. And then losing Javier and Evtimov, I mean, they were coming into the lineup as being extra forwards for most of the season, so you didn't lose very much. And everything seems very connected. The team is playing very well. They're playing a good game. Yep, so the last 2 games were on the road. I was right. So Chatham always put up like 2 or 3 a game. The last few years they have put up 2 or 3 points in the last 4 meetings. Before that, they couldn't score more than 2, besides 1 game in 1920. So Utica is 13-0 against Chatham and 7-0 at home. This is a team that they average almost 7 goals against over those 13 games, and I think last year when I was yelling at their bench, I called them a rip-off Kansas State. So that's now every time I look at their colors, I think of Kansas State. But it should be an interesting 2 games. I mean, if Utica comes in and handles business a little better than, the Brockport game, there were still some little mistakes, which anyone who knows how Gary coaches, he's very old school. He likes to yell, and if you want perfection, you have to demand perfection, even if you probably will never reach perfection. You can get yourself as close as possible through certain coaching styles, and Gary's is the old school way, from what I can tell. And I guarantee you he's harping on those mistakes. We had him on the CNY Hockey Report last week, and he kind of gave his thoughts on the coming series next weekend and the weekend after. And we didn't really touch on these Chatham games because we didn't have it for long. But, hearing him talk about the games, you can tell he's zoned in. He knows how he wants to go about the season, and hopefully the team can get it done tonight, because while Chatham they're not the best team. They're not a Geneseo. They're not a Stevenson. They're still going to give you a run if you sleep on them, and you can't sleep on them, especially if you give them those power play opportunities. If they're on, they're going to score. So you have to really match up and show up. So as long as Utica can show up these 2 games, there's no reason why they should lose, and they should be able to control the game relatively well if they just go and play their game. Anyways, anyone who's going to be there, hopefully it's nicer than it has been the last 2 days. It's been very rainy. Hopefully the weather going into Utica around game time, it did stop. Even though I'm 20 minutes from Utica, it did stop here. So hopefully the weather holds off and it's not horrible and drizzly like it sometimes can be for anyone who's going. And, we'll see what happens, because I don't even have the lineup yet. The lineup's never out this early. So, we'll see. Hopefully the weather's nice for anyone who's going, and go Pioneers.